Hi there, my name's Jane Anderson and this is the Jane Anderson Brand You Show. It's the podcast for experts who want to have greater impact, influence and income for their businesses and careers. As experts, we know that people buy from people and work with people who they know, who they like and who they trust. So I am so glad you're here because it's that time again now to really amplify how you show up in the world. Okay, hi there and welcome to the Jane Anderson Show. I'm so glad you've been able to make it today, and I've been having some interesting conversations and chats lately with people who are looking at setting up their own personally branded businesses and under their own name. So this week I thought I would share with you something that I've been talking a little bit to people about, and I ran some webinars lately on building Corporation New, and so that's what my podcast series is all about. It's all about being able to share with you some of the things that some of the people that I see that I'm working with who have set up their own personally branded businesses. Maybe they've been clients of mine, they quite possibly haven't, but just a real cross-section so that you can be inspired to look at how you might be able to set up your business under your personal brand or your personally branded name, so using yourname.com to be able to stand out from the crowd. So what I wanted to talk about today was one of the things that I get asked a lot is, where do you even start with this? I've bought my name.com or .com.au or whatever, and so what do I do next? And I think one of the things that happens is that we set up a one-page website. That's all I need, and I get started, and then I get all excited about it, and then I go, this is a bit harder than what I thought it was going to be, or what do I do from here? So this week I've been talking to people about my Corporation New Blueprint, and now because you're a listener, I've created a hidden page on my website. So if you'd like to go to www.jane-anderson.com.au/blueprint. That's www.jane-anderson.com.au/blueprint. And so what I've done is I've created a hidden page just purely for those listening to the show, where you can download this Corporation New Blueprint that I've created to help you think about what I think are the 6 elements to really building your personal presence in, if you're a solopreneur, mumpreneur, perhaps micro business, or maybe you have a full-time job and maybe you have another skill set that you're looking at running to be able to make this move so that you can leave your job. Because one of the things that I've seen is a lot of clients I've worked with have left the workforce to set up their own businesses. Or sometimes they've been forced to. They've taken redundancies and really struggled to get back into the workforce. So today what I wanted to talk about is this blueprint so that you have a bit of an idea of where to start and what to do. And this is certainly the journey I've taken that I've seen works. I've, hand on heart, made a lot of mistakes. Things that I've done. This is sort of the fast track. I wish somebody had shown me this, which is why I've put it together, because when I did it, it just took so long to try and work out what I was doing wrong, and I was trying to do too much sometimes. Like, you see, I don't know about you, but you see on social media, become the expert in the industry, so you should be podcasting and writing books and speaking, and what's the so you spread so thin so quickly. You only have so many hours in the day and you become exhausted really fast. And so one of the things I see is that it's knowing, how do I put one foot in front of the other, and what is the sequence that I do these things in. I think sequence is really, really important when it comes to building your personal brand. For your own personally branded business. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to download the blueprint, and you'll see there are 6 spots on the page, and those 6 spots, they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and each one has a keyword, or it has a little rectangle at the top right and left hand bottom corners of each box. So my tip for you would be, I'm going to walk through it anyway, so if you don't download it, it's no big deal, but if you do, you might like to download it and write the words in, and it's probably something you might like to stick up on your wall in your office at home, or maybe use it as a screensaver or something like that. So, and one of the things I found was that, there are just so many things to do. Where do you even start? And so if you download it, you'll see there are the six areas. And the 6 words are, number 1 is decide. So the first one is decide. And I've got decide here because at this point, this is the very first step. The very first step is you need to decide what your message is and what your positioning is, and what is going to set you apart from everybody else. And what does set you apart is, yes, it sets you apart because it's coming from you. You are what differentiates what you're delivering. But you also need to make a decision at this point about what I call your 10,000 hours. And your 10,000 hours are about... you might have read the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about this particular sculpture that was on display, and they had to get people in to determine if it was a fake or not. And these so-called experts that came in to determine whether it was a fake or not, those who could determine really quickly, all had one thing in common, and that was that they had what was called the 10,000 hours. So Bill Gates, he had his 10,000 hours of working on computers by the time he started working on them when he was 9, and so he had his 10,000 hours almost by the time he was around 15 or 16. So your 10,000 hours, one of the things that when I'm working with people and setting up their own business and working under a solopreneur model, is I'm looking for what have you got 10,000 hours worth of experience in, because you need to be able to get through problems. You need to get through mistakes. You have to have made all the mistakes, because once you go out on your own, customers aren't going to pay for mistakes. Making mistakes while you have a job is a good way to go. But if you're in finance and you want to set up a life coaching business, then my advice would be probably set it up while you have a job, start building your hours, and even coach people within the workplace, and then start building your clientele. Don't leave your job and set up, a life coaching business when you have no experience in it. So one of the things that will help you position yourself is if you have your 10,000 hours. And so if you've printed off the document, I think the word that sits up in the top right-hand corner is you need to make a decision, and the word that sits up in the right-hand corner is your expertise. What is it? Because your expertise, whatever you have the skills in, is what's going to set you apart. Because if you can't position yourself and make a decision around what is it that you bring, then in the bottom left-hand corner, the word here is what's going to happen is you're going to be wobbly. And you're not going to have conviction. People are going to see through it, and they're not going to trust you. And so that's going to affect pricing. It's going to affect your marketing. It's going to affect so many things. So we've got to start off on the right foot. So number 1 is decide. The top word in the top right-hand corner is expertise. You need to decide on your expertise. And if you don't, bottom left-hand word is wobbly. The second one, so that's number 1. Number 2 in the Corporation U blueprint, I call it Corporation U. Some people say, doesn't that sound a bit too high-flying? And I go, well, Corporation U, I think one of the things that I see when I work with people is that they're a bit scared of using their name.com, because they go, well, what if I don't appear big enough? I'm hiding behind a business name so that I look bigger. But wow, you look at the Tim Ferrisses, the Jack Canfield, the Brian Tracy's, Bob Proctor's. These are some of the biggest names in expertise in there under personally branded businesses. And I say, you can build a big business under yourname.com. There's plenty of people who've done it. And that's why I call it Corporation U. Think big. So number 2 is position. And this is about how you want your customer to categorize you, and it's also about how you focus your energy. And the words that sort of hover in this space, I think positioning really comes back to your pricing model. So how you position yourself, your pricing will send a very clear message about how what type of person you are to work with and how you position yourself in your business. If you have really cheap pricing, then people are going to position that perhaps, you know, there's something wrong with that, or you're going to get customers who don't have a big budget. But position's also about your markets. It's also about your content marketing, and you need to make sure that whatever it is that you're sharing, if it's video blogs, if it's podcasts, if it's whatever it might be, is linked to this positioning, and you're very strategic about what you write. If you listen to the podcast that's on the positioning model that I talked about in one of the other podcasts, this is about being strategic, and we talked about positioning back then. So I'd recommend downloading that one if you haven't heard it. So the two words that really hone in on number 2, which is on position, the top right-hand corner, the word here is focus. You're really looking to really tighten up and get focus about what your message is, what your differentiator is, and that's going to be about why you're here, what's your purpose in the world, and that's what's going to set you apart. So, for example, in my case, my positioning is all about personal branding, and so everything that I write about is all about what supports your personal brand. So whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're a business leader, whatever it might be, is my positioning is all on personal brand, and that's the focus that I give all my content. There are times where it's tempting to write about something else because I've had exposure to it or I've got experience in it, but you might overlay personal branding in that context or something like that. So the word on positioning is focus, and the word so that's about what you're trying to achieve. If you don't do it, which is the word in the left-hand bottom corner, is the word that goes in here is scattered. You'll appear scatty. People will go, I'm not following what she does. I'm still a bit lost. So the word here is scattered. So number 1 is decide. Number 2 is position. Number 3 is the word build. And the word build in here is around you've got to build your tribe. You've got to build your database. You know, if you don't have this, what's going to happen is you are going to be cold calling, you're going to be chasing people, and you're going to be chasing people who haven't built enough connection with you and who don't trust you. So Seth Godin in his book Tribes talks about, you know, we have a certain amount of people. It's a bit like a village, that there are a lot of people in your village who know, like, and trust you. And I think one of the mistakes I see when I'm working with solopreneurs, they're so focused on new clients, new people, you know, new businesses, and but they don't look after the people who already like working with them. That tribe of people, they're the ones who have spent their money with you. They're the ones who deserve to be looked after. So I think the way that the word that really sits up in this top right-hand corner is the word tribe. You've got to get that tribe going and people who already understand you and how you help them. In the bottom left-hand corner, if you don't have your tribe, you're constantly chasing strangers. And so if you want to put the word strangers in there, with strangers, you're fighting a losing battle. It's so hard. So, and examples of this are people who are doing Google searches and you're turning up in search results and things like that. That's a really tough space to be in because you end up competing on price. So the word tribe, I think, is really important here. And you're doing that through building your database, and you've got newsletters and things being built, and in particular probably your LinkedIn and your Facebook pages, depending on if you're business to consumer or business to business. All right, so we've got decide, position, build as part of, they're the top 3 foundations for Corporation New and building your personally branded business. Number 4 is launch. Launch is about the things that you are sharing with your market that you've put together that you think can help them. So it shows that you care. It shows that you have a good understanding of some of the challenges they're going through, and it shows that you're here to help. So to be able to do these launches. Launches are around what are your offerings to go to market. People like fresh things. They also like they need their problems solved. Times change. We've got to innovate and find new ways of doing things. And by creating launches and offers and programs, is that it gets people excited. It gets you excited. It gives you a purpose and what you're trying to do to help people. So the word that sits up in the top right-hand corner here with your launching your programs and offers is the keyword here is progress. And if you can get progress going, then you get momentum, your confidence comes up, and you start to really get momentum. Yeah, the word that sits down the bottom left-hand corner is you're going to go stale. The word stale is going in the bottom left-hand corner. If you're not fresh and exciting and using your innovative ideas and understanding your market, then people are going to start going, oh, I don't really understand. That person's not really connecting with, what's happening for us. Times move fast. Customers' needs move fast. You've got to move fast. So that's number 4. Number 4 is launch. So if you can do launch, then you're going to be able to start to rock your corporation new. So that's number 4. We've got 2 more to go. So 2 more. Number 5 is speak. Now this one is often the one that scares the pants off everybody. One of the comments I often get when I'm working with clients, they'll say, oh, I'm happy to write blogs, I'm happy to do research, I'm happy to coach, maybe train, but speak, I don't know. So one of the things with speaking is that it's really leveraged, it's really efficient because you get to talk to lots of people at once. If you've got 100 people in a room versus 100 one-on-one conversations, that takes a long time. So if you can speak, then you're going to be able to start to get in front of some people. You're going to be able to identify your markets, get out and talk to them. And you are also, because you're the speaker, you're not sitting in the audience listening, you're the speaker. So you apparently know something. So, we've got to get you out talking and speaking. And if you can do that, the right word, the word that sits up in the right-hand corner is the word amplify. It will amplify your message. It will amplify your conversations, amplifies your audience, and starts to get you connected and keeping connected to your tribe. If you're not speaking, you're not amplifying your message. It's a tough gig. So if you're not speaking, plus building your database, plus launching, making sure your positioning's right, then you're really very internally focused. If you're not doing all those things, you're focusing on, I don't want people to look at me, I'm not comfortable, I'm not confident, I haven't got conviction. And so you're actually coming from a place of being selfish. And the word in the bottom left-hand corner is selfish. When I work with people, I get them focused on the reason why we're doing this is to help people. We want to see people love what they do. We want to see businesses survive. We want to see people, if you're a health practitioner, you want to see people healthier. You're doing all this for yes, you get the financial benefit of it, but at the same time, if you're just doing it for money, then you might as well, there's plenty of other things you could be doing. This is a hard slog, but a lot of people hold back on the speaking because I don't know that I want people to be looking at me. I don't want to spruik for business. But that's selfish. It's the first thing I'll say. You're being selfish. You've got to flip this around. And if I think about the person sitting in the audience and they're needing help, there's someone in that audience who needs help, and they don't know that you exist until you walk on that stage. You have shown them that there is possibility. You've shown them that they can get help. And you are coming from a place of, that's why you're here. So I think something really important to think about is your speaking. And then the last one in the corporation blueprint is you've got to be able to sell. And when I say sell, I think it feels like a sleazy word, but I think this one is really about helping people. If you can't find the people that you've got to help, if you can't package it up in a way that will help them with their problem, then you're not going to survive, and people aren't going to get helped. So the word up in the top right hand corner is the word here has got to be, it's got to make you a profit so that you can survive. You know, you've got to pay your own super. You've got to pay, that's if you're Australian, or if you're in the US, your what do you call it, 457k, I think it's called. But you need to be able to survive. And, you know, there's, as a solopreneur, small business owner, some of the challenges there are, you know, it's really hard to get bank loans. You have to have low doc loans. You have to, you know, all those types of things. So you have to be making some money so that you can survive. So the word up in the top right hand corner is profit. So this means that you are not working off your hourly rate that you were working off when you were in a business. You know, you're delivering a program that's an hour and a half, you're coaching, or you are a graphic designer and creating something, and someone says, oh, there's only an hour and a half's work and you charge $500. And you go, yeah, but, you know, you've got all your marketing costs, you've got all your travel costs. You know, you really need to be making nearly 4 times that hourly rate to be able to survive, or the hourly rate of a normal job. And then, so the word that sits up in that top right-hand corner is profit, and the word that sits in the bottom left-hand corner is, if you're doing all this, if you're not doing all this, then the word that's sitting in the bottom left-hand corner is the word waste. It all becomes a big waste of time, energy, and effort, and that's the last thing we want. So I think if you could go away today from this podcast really thinking about, think big, and I say Corporation You, think big. You can, this is possible. You know, look at some of the greatest thought leaders in the world and in Australia, and you can build Corporation You. You can build a bigger business doing this. You don't have to, of course, but you might as well, as Donald Trump says, if you're going to think, you might as well think big. So download the Corporation You blueprint, and so it's www.jane-anderson.com.au/blueprint. Download it, jot the keywords in, stick it up on your wall. It'll help keep you focused and help you focus on putting one foot in front of the other. And then shortly I'll be having, you'll see it on the shop, or the online programs on the website, is I'm actually going to build the online course to match all this. It will be coming in the next, probably before the end of financial year. It'll be coming probably new financial year, so in July 2015. So, but my suggestion to get you started is the program will be built on this, and each of the modules will have workbooks and some coaching and things like that in it on how to do it. So I will be, so from one of the things, if you could do today, if you found this really helpful, I'd be so grateful if you put a rating on the iTunes page, would be fantastic, and keep in touch, because you'll be able to download the course, and I'll be keeping you informed on that. But download that, and hopefully that'll get you started, and look forward to hearing about your successes.